It is an absolute outrage, and it is completely unacceptable that as a country, any agency or organ of this state would be complicit in the genocide of a peoples, let alone the Palestinian peoples.
It is an abomination that the Central Bank of Ireland is funding genocide, and that's what they're doing. And it is absurd, entirely absurd, that the Governor of the Central Bank says that nothing applies to him or the Central Bank except an EU prospectus. Imagine that. No law in the land applies to him. No human rights law. The Genocide Convention doesn't apply. And of course it does apply. All of those laws do apply to the Central Bank. The Central Bank is obliged not to be complicit in genocide. They are actually breaking the law. We're telling them that. Everybody needs to tell them that. They are breaking the law and they need to stop breaking the law. The Genocide Convention is part of Irish law. It's the Genocide Act of 1973.
We had a motion on Safe Dublin County Council to make the council an apartheid-free zone, that they would not accept contracts from Israeli companies. They said the same thing, that there was EU procurement law that blocked them. When we tried to pass the Occupied Territories Bill, they say it might infringe on EU's laws. They say the same when it comes to sanctions. What it actually is, at every turn, the government, the central bank, whoever it is trying to absolve themselves of any sort of responsibilities. And what that actually makes them, it doesn't absolve them of responsibility, it makes them complicit. It makes them complicit in selling Israeli war bonds, in funding this genocide. It makes them complicit when they allow illegally weapons to fly through Irish airspace to go and arm people who are killing Palestinians. It makes them complicit when they refuse to stop Shannon Airport being used as a US military airbase to transport weapons and ammunition to Israel. That's all it is, complicity. And what they're trying to put forward, what they're trying to make us believe, is that their hands are tied, that there's absolutely no choice. There's always a choice. You always have a choice. You can take action or you can do nothing. And doing nothing makes them complicit.
And the fact that Ireland is now the clearinghouse, the agent for the whole of the EU for these bonds in a so-called neutral country is absolutely scandalous. Israeli bonds that have raised $4 billion since the genocide began, and these are great support. These are essentially loans by state to the Israeli regime. Loans for what? Loans for genocide. These are war bonds that the central bank is dealing in, and I think it's utterly scandalous. And the attitude of the Irish Central Bank has been that they've no option, that they're following orders, you know, that phrase that we hear so much. But they're also getting a lot of money for doing it, and have received about €40,000 for their role in this. And I think we need to bring on massive pressure. I think we need to bring pressure on bank workers, on finance workers as well, not to cooperate with this, to use the ICJ ruling, the ruling that Israel is carrying out a genocide.